To introduce our next speaker is going to be Melissa Aldridge.
Good morning. I would like to welcome John Manno to our Walter Porter Forum this morning. John is a graduate of NSU. He graduated in 1978 with a degree in business administration. While at NSU, he was very active in the university. Over the years since he graduated, he has certainly given back in big ways to the school. He and his wife, Lynn, have established several scholarships that have benefited students from all walks of life. Some of their scholarships have included a scholarship for a journalism student, a scholarship for a Kappa Sigma Leadership Scholarship, and even a scholarship for student athletes that they did in honor of his parents. John serves on the NSU Foundation Board and has been one of the university's biggest advocates over the years. He and Lynn even chaired NSU's capital campaign back in 2008, which is no small feat. NSU has even bestowed on John one of their most prestigious alumni honors, inducting him into the Long Purple Line. He is a respected and active member of the Shreveport-Bossier community. His civic board service and community honors and awards are really too numerous to mention, or we wouldn't even be able to hear him speak today. His company, Southland Printing, provides more than 70 jobs to the Shreveport-Bossier area and is one of the largest supplier of parking lot tickets in America. We appreciate him, and we are honored to have him at this morning's forum. John Manno.
Morning, everybody. Is it still morning? Yeah, it's still morning. Alrighty. Before I begin, I just want to thank everybody here at the university for allowing me this opportunity to tell you a little bit about what it is that we do, a little bit of where we came from, and where we stand as a nation, a state, and a community as far as business in our world. I not only it's amazing to listen to Pete and listen to Sherri. I've got things that have kind of grown together with them in connection. Involved in the Red Cross. Sherri was involved in the Ike, and I was on the board when the Ike. There's a Katrina, Ike, Gustav, and Rita. So those 4 hurricanes, I was chairman of the board for the Red Cross. And when you're chairman, you think, oh, well, I'm just going to go to a meeting and I'll be in charge of one thing and another. And then the executive director comes up and brings you this little red vest, and you find out you're in charge of the shelter. What does that mean? That means you open the shelter, you feed 100 people, you make sure everything is running properly until National comes and shows up. Unfortunately, when National showed up, that's when everything, as far as the hurricanes were concerned, that's when everything imploded. So, but anyway, community involvement is very important to me, and I hope that down the road, as you move from this environment here that you're in, that it'll become part of you as well. Let me ask, before I get started here, are there any people here that have the desire to be an entrepreneur? Okay. I'm going to leave you, those of you that wish to be entrepreneurs, this statement, and it came from somebody that I'm very honored to know and proud of, my father. He says, what the mind can conceive and believe can be achieved. So remember that no matter what you do in life, as something to live by, and great things will happen. We're going to look at begin with, gone a little too far, I think. Oops. Oop. Okay, we're right. Okay. We have here the in the United States and we're looking at our economy and where we are today. As you well know, we have a big crisis, or supposed crisis, on our hands called the budget and the debt ceiling. Okay? And those of you that have taken economics and one thing or another probably understand that more than others. But if you follow it and you know where we are, basically what needs to happen is the government needs to live within a budget that each and every one of us do today. You've heard Pete and you've heard Sherri. They came to school and they didn't have money. So they had to budget, okay, what they could participate in, what they couldn't participate, what they could do, ways in which I could get more money. Layoffs today continue to fall. So that's a good thing. And they're back to the normal low levels. However, a falling unemployment rate today is a sign that the economy is usually on the rebound. However, in today, the unemployment rate has lost its grip as a measure of the economic labor pool. And that's primarily because, as you see here, you look at 2009, we were at 10%, and we're slowly going down to where we are right now at 7.4. But that's really not the unemployment rate. Because the unemployment rate, while years ago was a measure, today the unemployment rate masks important trends in the character of the official unemployment, the amount of short-term versus long-term employment. It doesn't capture the extreme elevated number of people who are working now part-time, either for economic reasons, because they can't find full-time work, or does not capture the people who cannot find work, grew discouraged, and dropped out of the market. And then increasing and losing its value. So consequently, the unemployment rate, as far as a economic measure, is losing its value as a barometer as far as the as far as our economy is concerned. So as I said, the unemployment rate has now become a benchmark that we do not need to be measuring anymore. And if it's not a useful unit of measure, what do we need to do? Do we need to look at the ratio of employment to population for selected populations, or the ratio for young people that offer a more comprehensive view of the state of the job market? The unemployment rate for you all here is probably somewhere in the market of, is probably in the market of about 13-14%. So you look around, and there's, for every person that has a job, there's 1.5 of you. Of course, you can't have 1.5 that doesn't have a job. And they're talking full-time. We're not talking about part-time. So let's go to our state. The state of Louisiana, while in the past has not enjoyed the best of times, currently we're seeing the best of times. For example, Louisiana has received the #1 rank in 2012 for digital marketing and performance by Business Facility Magazine. Louisiana continues to strive as a hot post for digital opportunity. The ranking is further validated by the surge in business investments from digital companies like Gameloft, GE Capital, and Electronic Arts, the EA Sports people. Louisiana also enjoys top economic growth, something that we didn't enjoy several years ago. Those of you that were in Pete can probably address this. If you were here in the 80s when the oil just crashed and burned, it was horrible. It was horrible. Outperforming the South and the nation as an Louisiana is emerging as an economic development leader. Louisiana lands the number 2 ranking in 2013 for economic growth potential by Business Facilities magazine. It's yet another sign of Louisiana's emergence as the most rapid improving business climate in the country. Louisiana ranks number 2 in 2013 for economic growth potential, number 2 among states in the most free trade zone activity. Louisiana now ranks higher in every national business climate ranking than it ever did prior to 2008. This includes published by the Area Development, Beacon Hill Institute, Site Selection, and in 3 business climate rankings, Area Development, Business Facilities, and Site Selection, Louisiana ranks among the top 10 states in the United States. Louisiana has always been a big exporter, but now we are number 1. We're bigger than New York, we're bigger than Los Angeles, we're bigger than Seattle, we're larger because why? Because we have great access to great infrastructure, mainly because we have the Mississippi and we have the Red River flowing through our state. And barge traffic in those 2 areas has increased dramatically. The 4th growth rate of the highest women-owned businesses. In 2013, Louisiana had over 130,000 women-owned businesses in the state. And being a woman-owned business has its advantages. And I'm not talking looks, because there are opportunities for customers, for jobs that are looking specifically for minority-owned businesses, which a woman's owned business does qualify as such. The top 10 Louisiana's business for the current economy in the state of Louisiana's top 10 for business climate is because of elimination of several harmful business taxes. It's easy to do business in Louisiana. Creation of a number of economic development, expansion, and retention groups. The LED in Louisiana and probably in Natchitoches and your Chamber of Commerce have aided this expansion. The creation by our state government of Head Start and Incumbent Worker Trainer and other programs allow people that have old technology jobs to get retrained to have new technology jobs and stay within the workforce. It is easier and less expensive to retrain an old employee than it is to hire a new one. And that's what some of these programs that our state is doing that has helped. And it helps not only the person that's working, but it also helps the employer. Since 2008, the LED has secured economic development projects that are creating more than 63,000 new jobs and more than $28 billion in new capital investments and hundreds of millions of dollars in new sales for the small business across our state. Some of the areas that we see that are growing is the aerospace industry, agribusiness. There's a wealth of raw materials aided by a billion-dollar agricultural industry in our state. The automotive industry, low tax burdens for new operations, tax advantages for companies that want to come into the state, and there's also tax advantages for companies that want to expand their business within our state. There's a favorable tax and strong infrastructure that provides resources within companies. We have process industries of over 90 major chemical plants, 300 petrochemical manufacturers, and 19 refineries. Louisiana offers considerable strategic advantage for companies in the infrastructure and natural resource, providing unparalleled opportunities. And then we got to the software. Software companies enjoy a very strong incentives to come here. Water management, there will be projects that will aid not only our water, but also our wetlands that will help us to survive, tragic incidents like Katrina, Rita, Ivan, Gustav. The Coastal Protection Restoration Authority of Louisiana is projected that Louisiana will spend between $1 and $2 billion per year for the next 50 years on water-related research projects in marsh creations, protection systems, sediment diversions, and other restoration projects. So our state is doing things to make our living here better and doing things to keep our young people like you here in the state. We enjoy a great infrastructure, 6 Class 1 railroads, 6 major highways, an extensive network of ports, access to both the Mississippi and the Red River, which connect to the Gulf of Mexico, and provide unparalleled infrastructure and logistics advantage. Those of you that are not a part of this may not realize this, but if you took and put a circle of 300 miles around Shreveport, you would reach more people within that circle than you would any place else in the United States. And there's varying reasons why that happens. One is because they're landlocked, they've got water on their east or water on their west. They may be on borders to countries like Canada and Mexico. And they may be like Florida, it's got water on both sides. So Louisiana really is in the driver's seat when it comes to economic development. And those of you that may or may not be aware of the fact, but in 2013, Elio Motors is going to create this little baby in Shreveport in the old General Motors plant. Now, I'm sure everybody's going, what the heck is that? Well, that's an Elio. It looks like a motorcycle on steroids. So anyway, but that was 2,500. I think it was 2,500 at its max. General Motors had 2,500 employees producing trucks for all over the United States and Hummers. Okay, they're in the process of working out the deal so that they could move in. It will be 1,500 new jobs, and by late 2015, and generate a capital investment in excess of $100 million. Now let's see if it happens. And there have been other projects that have caused for our expansion within our state. Those of you, I know that Natchitoches, I think Natchitoches has a port, correct? Shreveport has a booming port, and then if you go all the way down the river, you see ports in all these communities. But the Drax Biomass International announced in December of last year, it plans to build a wood pellet facility in Beekman, a community 10 miles north of Bastrop. Bastrop, being in the printing business, Bastrop and that area of the state, the Northeast, there were paper mills all over the place. And we bought all our paper from those mills. Not a one of them is producing paper these days. But now that what they're doing is they're taking all these old manufactured pieces of property and reconfigure them to do other things. The Bentler Steel Tube, a German steel manufacturer, announced in October of 2012 it would build a $900 million hot rolling tube mill at the port of Caddo Bossier, 675 new jobs. Blazer Construction, 20 new jobs. Weyerhaeuser, close here, okay, it retained 175 existing jobs and it's creating 30 more. Tiburon Associates announced in July of 2012 it's overhauling the Camp Minden in Bossier and Webster parishes, and they're investing $78 million to overhaul and recondition tractable wheeled vehicles for the Army. Mortgage Contracting Services announced that a 10,300 square foot process of outsourcing center in the I-20 district of Ruston. Graphic Packaging in West Monroe, 456 jobs saved, 47 new jobs. Haynes International, producer of titanium hydraulic tube. Titanium is the new metal, okay? $37 million expansion of its Arcadia plant and 19 new jobs and retained 141. So it's all up and down our state. There are things happening that makes doing business in our state great. Now to go to the Shreveport-Bossier area, Channel 3 reported that the sister cities of Shreveport and Bossier lost 11% of their gross domestic product. And that goes back all the way to 2012. But part of that is that they don't mention is that General Motors closed their plant. And that's a huge number. Like I said, it was probably as great as 3,500, and probably when they announced the close, they were about 2,500. So now you have a really big empty building. So as a result of that, our domestic product for the community of Shreveport and Bossier went down. But the local economists say it's not time to panic. Okay, it's very, very blunt measurement of the quality of life and the quality of the business activity in the community. Again, we talked about how important is the unemployment rate in measuring the state of the economy. Liz Swain, former representative of the KTBS, Downtown Development, says the businesses are still interested in coming in the area, a sure sign that the future is bright for growth. In fact, something so weird is happening in Shreveport that not only is Shreveport seeing a rebirth, but downtown Shreveport is seeing a rebirth. It's remaking itself, and you're seeing more and more people that are actually living downtown. They have condos, they have apartments in downtown Shreveport, which they never had before, and it's something new and different. It's not necessarily different. It's not change, it's just different. There's a combination of factors which provide a low cost of doing business in the Shreveport-Bossier area. The state effectively provides zero corporate income tax environment for items produced in Louisiana and shipped out of the state. Single sales tax apportionment. As of July 2009, electricity, water, natural gas, machinery, and equipment used by manufacturers are exempt from Louisiana sales tax. Now there's some stipulations with that. Jobs called job creation. So will you create 50 new jobs and we'll forego your sales tax on this equipment. Louisiana has a low percentage of unionization, 4.3% reported by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And because of that, it's easier to find work. Louisiana is a right to work state. Louisiana businesses have access to competitive and comprehensive portfolio of state, local, and federal incentives that make a profound impact on a company's bottom line. And to be perfectly honest, we've used them. We have a program that we use whereby we buy a major piece of equipment. We don't have to pay any property tax on it for 10 years. Well, as long as it's in service, we still have to pay property tax after the 10 years. Well, at the end of the 10 years, instead of paying a 30% property tax, or I'm sorry, a 98% property tax on it, well, 0.98, we're paying a 0.3. So it's making us more profitable, which means we can hire more people. Key industries and leading employers in the Northwest Louisiana region have competitive, advanced manufacturing base, a growing biotech, life science, and pharmaceutical sector, emerging technology sector, creative industries such as film and digital media, and of course we have Moonbot Studios, was it Blade Studios, the music, had, what's his name, came in, Dave Matthews came in and did some recording a couple of months ago. We have a re-energized oil and gas sector, but we're not putting all our money into it. Large and sophisticated healthcare sector. We've got LSU Med Center up there, which is a teaching hospital. We also have one of our biggest supporters as far as our nursing program is concerned in Willis-Knighton. They provide a number of scholarships for those in the nursing program, and also as a result, they use that as an opportunity to recruit new nurses to come into their medical system. A significant defense sector includes our nation's most strategic military installation, Barksdale Air Force Base. And just for your information, the economic impact of Barksdale per year is $1 billion. The Greater Shreveport Economic Development Foundation have played a major part in success stories in our area. One of them is the integral role of growth of the film industry, and that was a result of, what was that? A result of Katrina. That was, if it weren't for Katrina, out of something bad comes something good. They've worked with Barksdale Air Force Base to become more of a, bring them up, their technology up to the initial stages of Cyber Command by being part of the team that created and worked to locate what is now the National Cyber Research Park in Bossier. They've assisted many small businesses, including mine. As a result, I've taken advantage of a program called the Incumbent Worker Grants, whereby I bring in instructors and what have you to teach my current employees new processes, computer, digital, what have you. They provide land sales for opportunities in industrial parks, such as the new FedEx distribution facility in Bossier. And they participate in the community events as being a major sponsor of the Independence Bowl, I-49 and 69, Barksdale Air Force Base, and the Bassmaster Classic. This is now many businesses have been very positive outlook on the economic. Here's a little bit about Southland Printing.
The mouse. We're not touching yet.
Well,
The speakers.
speakers. Well, okay. Well, this is our company, and we produce parking lot tickets. Like when you go to a bank garage or you go to an airport, the machine dispenses the ticket. We produce these, and you can't hear it, but in all 50 states and 49 foreign countries. We're located on Airport Drive in Shreveport, which is on the north side of downtown. And this gives you an idea of some of the equipment that we're doing and some of the processes that we're involved in. That's my father, and that's my mother in the background, and me is a little lad. You know her. So it continues on, talking about Southland. That's my mom and dad in the early days. This press right here, my dad invented. And that's our production. That's where the company got started. And right in here is where we were located. Those of you may recognize the young man, well, you may recognize him. These are our core values: quality, trust, integrity, adaptation, and innovation. What you see is what you get. What we promise, what we deliver what we promise, and our word is our bond. We pride ourselves in being advanced in the technology. One of the things you'll see here in a minute is we have a research and development lab whereby we can take a ticket that's having a problem, we can reverse engineer it and find out what its problem, determine where the problem is. And we even have equipment that we use in our operation so that we can run test samples through to aid the customer, which is not really our responsibility, to aid them. This is our latest technology press. This is $750,000 press. What it'll do is it'll actually, if those of you that know what RFID is, those of you probably in CIS or what have you, we take 2 sheets of paper, take a RFID chip going 400 feet a minute and put that chip in between those 2 sheets of paper. That's our sales team. This is our order entry. The video, you're losing the audio, you're losing that part, but these are samples that we can send out to customers so that they can see what the product, its quality is, our retention of what our work is. This is old technology, pre-press. We're getting ready to put in new technology. It's all digital, and it will, instead of going from paper to film to plate, we'll go from paper, well, we won't even go to paper, we'll go from digital printout of viewing to plate. These presses here use what they call a polymer plate. It's like a rubber stamp. It's on a roller, and the presses run about 400 feet a minute, and we print all these tickets. Of course, they have to go in and out. 20 working days is what we enjoy in the industry. High quality, read rates. This is what our products look like. This is our R&D lab. This is a friction tester to see if a ticket is slipping, if it's the paper. Environmental chamber, we can take that up from 0 with 100% humidity to 120 with no humidity. And these are some of the products that we support, the manufacturers. We have our own machine shop that we enjoy, that when something goes down, we fix it. And so you don't hear, well, it can't deliver your product because the press is down. And it gives you a little viewing of what our operation looks. This is inside one of our warehouses, our machine shop. We do all our CAD work, both for equipment, building, electronics. This is some of our product coming off the end of a press. We do barcode, we do man-readable numbers, we do mag stripe, and RFID. Barcode, everybody says, well, that's easy. You go on the grocery store, you see a barcode on the can. Yeah, that's easy. That's one barcode on every can in the store. What we do is we consecutive barcode. The new technology is QR code. We're doing that. Again, digital. It's all it's a different number within that that QR code. When we produce, that's about a 30-day supply of paper right there. That's about 30 days. And I don't know that they've got a picture of where our jumbos, which would be about a 90-day. We take a paper, we put it on a machine, we split it down into rolls. Like this is what this operation is doing right here. And we have checks and balances to make sure that what the product going out is right. And we have old technology. That's old technology. And it's funny, when I was here at Northwestern, I worked in the print shop. And I would show the people that were there, you can do it this way. And they said, no, you can't. I said, yeah, you can. So, okay, prove it. Okay. So that's what I did. I proved it. This gives you an idea of our customer base and some of the nonprofits that we're involved in. The March of Dimes, Northwestern, American Red Cross. That's just some of them. And we're also we work within the environment. We recycle all our bad paper and all our chemicals we recycle. And that gives you an idea of the speed in which the equipment runs. And again, that's our latest press. And we're consecutively numbering. That part in the middle that you see turning round and round, that's a numbering machine. Again, consecutively number. Some of the organizations that we're involved in. Our new tagline, a rich history and exciting future. Oops, wrong way. Just come back to the idea of a family-owned business. So I was born and raised in Shreveport with a father with an immigrant Italian family. The entrepreneurial spirit has always been alive in our family. It began with my grandfather and him developing, and I know you've got one in every kitchen. My grandfather invented the egg slicer. But because in the 1930s he had 8 children to feed, he sold it for about $25 to put groceries on the table instead of having the money to patent it and market it and all the things that we have to do today to get things on the Home Shopping Network or QVC or what's that guy? Wait, there's more. It ran through my father's blood. It runs through my blood. My dad built a very niche printing company. There's only people in the United States that do what we do. There's only 3 of us. One's in California, one's in Ohio, and one's 70 miles north of here. You may ask how Southland Printing has been so successful over the years. What the mind can conceive and believe can be achieved. They pioneered the magnetic stripe ticket and barcode ticket to the newest technology in RFID, QR codes, and automated valet tickets. All this would not have been possible without the employees that have kept the day-to-day operation and equipment humming along. Southland has invested in developing human capital by providing on-the-job training and building knowledge and skills through interactive work opportunities. We have a critical infrastructure with 15 printing presses, all customized to meet the specifics of the customer support. Production and pre-press departments made up of 4 managers, 30 press operators, including art layout individual, a group focused on development of production through final quality checks of printed materials to meet standards for customer satisfaction. On-site maintenance department, administrative personnel, sales department, and on and on. Southland continues to attract and retain business by supplying ticket products to our customers in the parking and transit industry. One of our biggest customers is Long Island Railroad. Building relationships with dealers and equipment manufacturers throughout the United States and internationally, this in turn brings back visitors from revenue back into our area. And of course, we've already talked about our involvement in the community. From the Strand Theater to the American Red Cross, the Crew of Gemini, Northwestern State University with scholarships, endowments, and opportunities for you all here today. We consist of 70 employees that span 50 years, and we have weathered the times. We believe that supporting and working together with the local chambers and Downtown Development Authority in our Shreveport-Bossier area is good for us and good for business and is good for our community. Finally, Forbes magazine says about Louisiana, America's new frontier for business opportunities. I thank y'all very much. If any questions, I'll be glad to answer.